What's up, YouTube? Today we're going to go over VBA, which is Visual Basic for Applications, and how you can automate your recording macros. We're not going to need to know any coding, just learn a little about it. So first we'll enable the macro recorder. File, Options, Customize Ribbon. This needs to be checked. It's defaulted to unchecked. Just click it, Developer, there you go. Hit OK, and you're set. Right now what we're going to do is record a macro, and we are going to mimic this 2-week sales report. This is, let's say, the last 2 weeks or the previous 2-week report. This is going to be the current one. So how do we do that? We have this one, that's the current week, and we have this one, which is the next week. All we do is you can go right here, Developer, and you can hit either Record Macro here, you can hit Record Macro here, or you can use the hotkey, which is Alt-TMR. So Alt-TMR, and then it will record it, and that starts and stops it. So we'll try it that way. Alt-TMR, and we'll call this Current Sales Report. Now you can't use spaces here or start with a number, so that's why we're using the underscores. You can add a shortcut key if you want. I would suggest, instead of just Control, let's say R for report, do Control Shift R. That way you won't overwrite any existing shortcuts in Excel. Then you can store it in either this workbook, which I prefer to do if it's something that's kind of a one-off or very specific. That way you can always access it when you open the spreadsheet. So you just open the previous one, the next one, and there you go. That's it. Or you can use the Personal Macro Workbook, which, think of that as a library of your macros that lets you always open and access any of the ones you have. It's great if they're generic. For me, it doesn't work as well. I prefer single workbooks. And you can write a description, XYZ. Hit OK. And as soon as this happens, you're going to see that this will change to a square, and this will change to a square. See? So now we're recording. It tells us right here. So all we're going to do is take the current sales report and last week's sales report, and we're going to paste them into the 2-week sales report. And we'll format it just like the original. So we'll go with current. So we go here, select our cell, and then we will go down 1. Then we use Shift Control. We hold that. We go down, right, and then we'll copy, Control C. So we've got all our info here. Then we're going to the 2-week sales report. We will go to this one, Control V, paste it. Then we'll go to the sales report last week, right there, down, Shift Control, down, right, and you'll copy it back to the 2-week sales report. And what we're going to do here is I click here, and this time we're going to use relative references and absolute references. So it's defaulted to absolutes right now. So the reason this is important, if maybe there was a date here that was a holiday that was forgotten or something, you go here, Shift Control, or you just hit Control and down, and we get to the end of the range. If there's a holiday and it was one less, and we had it in absolute, the macro would always record here. We'd have a gap in our data, and that could be a problem. But all we do is click this, Relative References. Now that it's grayed out, we know we're using the relative references. Then you'll go down with the arrow key, and then you'll turn it off. And now we're going to paste that data. So now this is always going to be able to go to copy the first one, then it will copy the second one, and it'll always go to the end of the range plus 1, whether that range is here, whether it's here, whether it's here, whether it's a million rows down. You've got a flexible macro now that's going to work for that. Now we just have to format like this. So all we're going to do is take this range here. So we can select the entire thing, but you can also just do this. You go to Home, Find and Select, Formulas. Actually, here's what we'll do. Just click there. Find and Select, go to special, formulas. Okay, now it highlights everything on this page here. And we're just going to make them blue just like these ones. So not only did it find it, we've got them outlined right here. We also have to do this conditional formatting. So then we will go to this, conditional formatting, color scales, and that's the end of it. We've got our report formatted just like we wanted the other time. There's last 2 weeks. Here's the current 2 weeks. And then all we're going to do is developer, stop recording, and there's our macro. Great. So let's test it out, and then we'll look at the code a little bit, see what's going on. So I'm going to delete this. I am going to then go to our VBA items here. Okay, we have this, we have that. Great. So we can run it anywhere we want. It doesn't really matter because we've picked the tabs already we're going to. So we're going to go to macros, and we'll do current sales report, and we'll just hit run. There we go. So the next week when data comes in, for example, let's say, well, we'll do this. We'll copy this just to have an example here. Actually, we'll do that. Yeah. All right. So we have a sample here, just to use as an example. So we're going to go change some of this data. We see that this one, 1052, so we're going to change everything to, let's say, 1. Revenue, 1. And then sales report last week, we'll change this to 5. The only reason we're doing this is because it's a very stark difference to the totals here. So we're clicking another tab just to, try and mess with it. Macros, current sales report, run. And there it is. All our formatting moved, it's perfectly adjusted, and we've basically automated this workflow. So the other thing we're going to do now is look at the code. So the code in here, you just go Alt F11, and what you're going to get is this. So we'll put this right here, and we'll put that right there. So what you see here is the code that we have in this macro. All we're going to do is just read it kind of line by line, nothing too crazy. So these are the commands we issued, and we were just clicking our mouse. Excel wrote all this for us. So you got Sheets, Sales Report, Current, Select. So it's going to this one first. After that, it goes to Range A2. So it's selecting a cell range, which is right here. Then the selection. So that's why we use that Control Shift down. So range, selection, selection end. So that's that. Go down, and then we're going Shift Control down, Shift Control right. So XL down, XL to right. Then we're copying it, Control C. Then Sheets, 2 week sales report, select. So it goes here, it pastes it, well, it goes there. Then we put this range here, goes down, and pastes it. Then we go to last week's sales report. It's going from there. Yep, selection down, down. We have that. And then we are copying again back to 2 week sales report. And it goes range A1 down. And then this right here is when we hit that absolute versus relative reference. That is the active cell offset. So 1 is down 1 cell. If it went to the right, it would be 1 cell, so 1, 1. And if you went up 1 to the left, it would be -1 for up, then -1 to the left. And then range A1. So all it did, it just shows A1 as that certain cell there, whichever one you happen to be in. So it goes down the 1 cell, and then it pastes the new info there. And then it picks all the formulas in the sheet, and it makes them select, changes the font color. So we have that font color. You don't have to memorize that or anything. You can just do it, and it'll tell you.